Good afternoon and happy Friday, everybody. It's Lyle from C&S Corvettes with my Friday podcast. Let me tell you, one thing we learned for sure this week in Florida is that summer is definitely here. We had heat indexes of 107 degrees, and it has been super humid. And it's really got me thinking about the changes that need to happen with your car when we get this kind of heat. And that heat may not be there just yet in the Midwest or whatever, but it's a-coming. Okay, so here's a list of a few things I want you to look at as that heat starts to roll into your part of the world. Number one, I want you to go look at your tires. I want you to check the pressures, because if you were running high pressure during the winter, obviously now with higher temperatures you're going to be over pressure. You may have to let a little air out, or if they're low, obviously put them up to standard temperature, standard pressure. Number two, check them for dry rot. Especially easy to see on the sidewalls of the tires. It'll look like a series of really tiny thin cracks. It becomes more prevalent in the heat of the summer, more easy to see, and it's also easier for it to come apart when it's hot. So you definitely do not want to be driving on anything that is dry rotted. Number two, make sure you replace your windshield wipers. If you haven't done it in the last 12 months, do it. You'll never regret doing it. It's inexpensive and it's a safety issue. And normally halfway through the summer, that rubber gets cooked to the point where it doesn't work anyway. Number three, check your coolant level. Open your hood, go in, make sure, look through the side, especially if you have a C5 or C6. The bottom part of the tank is white and it's got a little level indicator on it. Make sure your level's at the right place when it's cold. Also, make sure that your coolant fluid is still good. Just because it looks good doesn't mean it is good. Take your car to any local service station. They have a way to test that to make sure that that coolant is still healthy and doesn't need to be replaced. Number three, as I mentioned before to you, get under your car, look up by the air dam under the front bumper and make sure there's no grass clippings, plastic bags, small children, anything that could be causing a blockage for the air that's flowing up over your radiator and your condenser. That will help keep your car cool itself the way it was designed to. Number three, got to clean your drains. Another thing I've touched on in the past, on C5, C6s, there are what we call rubber udders directly under the windshield wipers at the front. Left side, there's 2 or 3 of them. Right side, there's at least one. And you basically just squeeze them. You'll feel crunchy stuff in there. Just keep squeezing. There's a slit at the bottom. All that stuff will fall out. That way they don't overflow into the channel that holds your wiper motor and your wiper transmission. Because if it does overflow, the first thing it's going to do is flood your wiper motor and kill the circuit board in there. Second thing it's going to do is overflow into your car and be running down on your feet. Not cool. Similar problem, especially with convertibles at the back. Around the hard tonneau cover, that flip cover that you put your top down and then this covers it, there are drains, little slit drains all along the quarter panels back there. If you look just to the side and in, when that is open, you'll see these little half-inch slits. Make sure that those are clear of debris, because if they get plugged, the water that's coming off the great big back flat end of that car, instead of going in there and draining through the outside of the body, is going to go into your car, under your carpet, and pool under your seats, kill your seat track switch, kill your seat memory, kill your seat motors, plus a bunch of other things. Always get that clear. Last but not least, your support shocks for your hood, for your tonneau cover, for your trunk, for your hatchback, those little gas struts. In extreme heat, weak ones work even worse than they normally do, and bad ones won't work at all because they're just too loose. Go ahead, they're inexpensive. Make sure you replace those, so if you need to get into one of these things, you don't have it dropping on your head and giving you a contusion. Going to the hospital gets expensive, and no matter how hot it is outside, nobody wants to be in the hospital. Any questions, give me a call. You know where to find me, 800-886-5064, or find me at CorvettePartsCenter.com. Have a great weekend. Stay safe.